Welcome to Shut Up Football. I'm Jeff Stoltzfus. That's Kevin. Week 2 in the NFL was Cuckoo Banana Nut Bread, which is why we watch. There were massive upsets, more rookie QB implosions, and a couple of teams that maybe we should start taking more seriously this year. But sadly, it was also not without a few casualties. Let's get to the roast, and we'll start in Miami.
It was sweaty and gross in Florida, mostly because of the weather. They said the Bills owned the Dolphins, but why would anyone want to own the Dolphins? Oh, sorry, Steven. I didn't see you decomposing there. It looked like a fair fight for all of 10 seconds. Then James Cook went ham with 3 touchdowns. Tua Tagovailoa threw 3 interceptions, including a nasty pick he might as well have tied a bow on. Jordan Poyer was called for helmet-to-helmet contact, which I thought was called docking. A statue of Brandon Beane was there. Blink! 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 Tua crashed headfirst into Damar Hamlin, which, given what Damar Hamlin is famous for, seemed like attempted murder. But it was Tua that felt the pain. Another scary concussion. No first down is worth this, especially in a runaway game. They said Tua was reckless when he ran, but I'll tell you who I blame. Damar Hamlin. 2 years ago, he died on the field only to resurrect like a football zombie. What bargain did he strike while floating on the river Styx? Only to return and claim Tua's career. Sounds like purgatory is filled with Jets fans. Backup Skylar Thompson came in. He might as well have been a string tied to a rock. This game was over. Al Michaels broke out a scotch that was old enough to vote. He'd been hiding it in Kirk Herbstreit's torso, which is why his chest is shaved. One less hurdle. He started talking about everything but the game. How many vowels are in the Bills receivers' names? Top 10 reasons I think the moon is made of cheese. What's Brandon Beane doing now? Where are cantaloupes made?
The cantaloupe capital of the world at the Cantaloupe Festival?
His body was there, but his mind had already beat the traffic. Mike McDaniel looked like he wanted to take his model trains and go home. Not today, Mike. Impress us with that Rain Man mind and Rube Goldberg your way out of this one, with a 7th round draft pick named after the mom from Breaking Bad. Sam Darnold found Justin Jefferson for a huge touchdown. And after, he learned far too late that the team had spent his time grittying, farting into the oxygen mask. Plus, I would be remiss if I didn't point out the ref that absolutely tore the ass out of his jeans to sprint 70 yards on this play. Refs weren't the only ones getting cardio. Jordan Mason had another 100 yards and a touchdown. Ty Chandler ran angry and nearly hit 100 yards of his own. Brocculus Purdy had a rough day. He threw a pass but forgot the ball. It was noticeable. He was also picked off and took 6 sacks. The Niners' special teams had issues. The Vikings blocked a punt and recovered it. Little Miss Muffin Punts found her bitchy little way onto the field again.
You're grouse.
Sam Darnold had 2 touchdowns. To what do you owe your early season resurgence? Huh? They said Darnold rebooted his career, which usually means turning it off and then back on again.
Oh, I guess he did do that then.
Gillette Stadium comes with a lighthouse, and I guess it worked. I didn't see a single ship all day. It was the 2 youngest coaches in the NFL. They replaced the 2 oldest head coaches, who I assume died immediately after being fired. There is no way to be sure. Look at these babies, with their smooth skin and their insatiable craving for milk. Let's see what they look like in January. Probably weathered like an old catcher's mitt left out in the rain. Or a pair of testicles left out in the rain. Ramondre Stevenson and Antonio Gibson exploded for 185 yards. Hunter Henry led the Patriots with 8 receptions and over 100 yards. Malcolm Butler was there, ringing a bell like Bill Belichick was in it. Where's my playing time, old man? Jalen Polk got his first throw touchdown, and KJ Osborne put a bow on it for him. That's just nice. Rub-a-dub-dub, it's OC Ryan Grubb in what appears to be a Beastie Boys video. DK Metcalf roasted the Patriots defense so bad, their unborn children suffered 3rd-degree burns. This game went to overtime. Too long, didn't read. Geno Smith called his signature play, a loaf of bread. Charbonnet buttered it, and the Pats were toast. Austin Eckler returned the opening kickoff for a touchdown, or it would have been, if it wasn't negated for holding. But you can't tell me it didn't happen. Graham Gano was injured chasing after him. It's off to the glue factory for him. Jaden Daniels must have been smothered in baby oil because it was hard to get a hold of him, or at least until two defenders made a sandwich of his ribs. It knocked the wind out of him, which sounds like a fancy way to say he farted.
That chili knocked the wind out of me.
Coach Dable, what SPF are you wearing? Daniel Jones did not look disastrous. 2 touchdowns, no picks. The Commanders didn't score a touchdown all day. It took 7 Austin Seibert field goals to get the victory. Congratulations, Washington. You're now the Steelers. Here's the kickoff. And this game just peaked. Dave Canales was the 7th head coach for the Panthers in 6 years. This organization has the culture of a petri dish. And what happened to Kitty's eyes? You took Kitty's eyes! Punt after punt. There were more legs in this than a spider orgy. Dave Canales said he wants to create an environment where no one is afraid to fail. Mission accomplished. Bryce Young must be relaxed as hell. Quentin Johnston had 2 touchdowns and looked legit. Bryce Young hit 8 different receivers and never topped 100 yards passing. The crowd was booing him, which must have been pretty loud to bleed through the bags on their heads. A graphic detailed the Panthers' ineptitude, but I take great umbrage that they would include Sir Purr in it. How dare you do Purr dirty like that? He's the only one in that facility putting in the work.
Why don't you love me, Daddy? Why?
Let's pay some bills and cut to the upskirt camera on the goalposts. J.K. Dobbins broke free for another huge touchdown run and thumbed his nose at the injury gods. Might as well just back up the ambulance in the end zone for him.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
It sure was nice of the Cowboys to have Alvin Kamara Day at AT&T Stadium. He ran free like a dog who jumped a fence. 4 touchdowns. What does that even sound like, you ask?
Yeah, here we go! Here we go! Here we go! Here we go!
The Cowboys had whatever that hollowed out husk is that they call Ezekiel Elliott. No soup for you. Everyone thought the Cowboys' defense was an insurmountable force, but instead, they showed the stopping power of public school toilet paper. The Cowboys ran crotch first into a buzzsaw. Derek Carr only threw 16 passes and had 3 touchdowns. This defense sparked a joy long dormant in Carr, like when you find matching socks. Dak Prescott threw 2 interceptions. At halftime, Mike McCarthy was possessed by the devil, and Jerry had to call for an exorcist again. Cam Jordan and Derek Carr looked like the end of every Lethal Weapon movie. Nice of the Cowboys to make a trailer for their January main feature. People asked, are the Saints really this good, or are the Cowboys bad? And the answer is yes. Malik Willis hadn't been with the Packers long enough to work a proper butt groove into the bench. Not a problem. The Packers rushed for all the yards. Malik Willis only threw 14 passes and didn't take a single sack. It helped that the Packers defense made Anthony Richardson look like a freshman at clown college. 3 interceptions, 2 fumbles. He was making balloon animals out of sadness on the sideline. But he wasn't the only one disappointing Coach Dad. Jonathan Taylor fumbled. Colts receivers seemed unable to catch passes even when it hit them in the hands. The Colts went to Lambeau and died. No plane tickets. Everybody walks home. The Browns looked proficient early. Watson hit his reads and got them in the end zone. This game is boring. Let's talk about the latest Deshaun Watson allegations instead. Ooh, that is a lot of text. He's just a dangerously horny man. Watson found Amari Cooper, but he was too wide open. Is that a thing? Watson made another risky attempt to play Where's My Finger Been? The Jags looked flaccid. Coach Peterson said they've got to stop the nonsense, and I hope he packaged his message to his players a little better than that. It's a certain kind of player that responds to cutting out the malarkey. No more baloney, and enough with the tomfoolery. The white ones, the super white ones. Lawrence threw a rainbow to Brian Thomas Jr., and soon after, Travis Etienne shoved his nub in for 6. Fans were ecstatic, kids were pissing in the pool, fucking up the pH. In the end, the Browns' defense was too much for sunshine. Malarkey wins. Aaron Rodgers had an observably better day after tossing 2 touchdowns to his running backs. First dipping his toe into the water with a 4-yard pass to Braelen Allen, and later going up top for Breece Hall. Breece Lightning. Braelen Allen had another score when he went untouched. I would have paid good money to see Rodgers ride him like a jockey, but there's probably a rule against that too. Calvin Ridley had a pair of scores on his own, one on the ground and the other an amazing sliding grab. You've really got to be encouraged by Will Levis' ability to chuck a duck blindly into double coverage and let the receiver make a highlight reel catch. Later, Levis tried to shovel a shit pass to Tajay Spears, and the Jets were all too happy to take it away. A horrible decision, and there's only one person I blame: Patrick Mahomes. An entire generation of quarterbacks thinking they can throw no-look off-platform balls and make SportsCenter? They're nothing but a bunch of drunk chicken shit and scrambled eggs. Coach No Name handed Levis his ass with both hands. Go find a safe space to cry. Where's that couch from the draft? The Lions faked another punt. They're so good at this. It was wildly impressive. Or it would have been, if it didn't just lead to an actual punt just a few minutes later. The Lions were called for 12 men on the field before the half, which caused a 10-second runoff and erased a field goal opportunity. Dan Campbell shouldered the blame. He punished himself by deadlifting Ford Field. Daryl Johnston was wearing a sport coat that made him look brave. Baker Mayfield's got more wheels than a 10-car pileup. He juked a man out of his knee-highs, and later beat 4 guys on his way to the end zone. Mayfield was the Bucs' leading rusher. Aiden Hutchinson had 5 sacks, or 4.5, depending on how numbers work. Jared Goff's errors took them out of the game. Baker Mayfield is a bona fide winner, at least through 2 weeks. If you like field goals, buddy, have we got the game for you. 5 field goals in the first half. And that's with Jay Tuckey missing one, which is surely a sign of the apocalypse. Antonio Pierce wore a black hoodie in 81-degree heat because real Raiders sweat uncomfortably. The Ravens jumped out to an early lead, thanks to Derrick Henry moving bodies like an automated mortuary, and Lamar Jackson hitting Zay Flowers for 6.
Damn it, Gardner! I'm sick of you microwaving broccoli in a communal area. It's a shared space.
Antonio Pierce pretended to be a unicorn, but I'm not falling for it. They're extinct. In the second half, the Raiders broke out their secret weapon, their first-round pick. Brock Bowers looked like a looter in a riot. He was taking everything. He sparked a comeback that put Alexander Madison in the end zone, and Devontae Adams got the go-ahead score. In the end, it was the Ravens left sweating with an 0-2 start to the season. This game got out of hand fast. Kyler Murray made this game a highlight reel. He tossed 3 touchdowns. Marvin Harrison Jr. had 2 of them. It looked like the game plan was throw deep to Marvin on every play. Murray also scurried for another 60 yards, unless you count all the yards he ran in circles, in which case he's well past an oil change. Elijah Higgins caught a touchdown on a play that looked like a map drawn by Parkinson's. Dennis Gardeck had a big day on defense. 6 tackles, 3 sacks. He helped force a fumble, and his disposition was probably fucking sunny. Jonathan Gannon must be some kind of genius when it comes to the X's and O's, because he's got the verbal skills of a damp sponge. The Cardinals made a statement, as did the Rams. Help! There's bad blood between these teams. They made a big deal out of Burrow featuring his tight ends, but it was wide receiver Andre Iosavash who had 2 touchdowns for the Bengals. Iosavash sounds like a luxurious body scrub, which I'm sure they needed after this game.
What was the sticking point for your guys to remember coming out of the half?
Pants. We can't forget those again.
This graphic said it all. Burrow staring death daggers while Mahomes looks fresh off the set of a State Farm commercial. Come on! You can't find one picture of Burrow with good lighting and a smirk? Cam Taylor-Britt snagged the Mahomes pass with one hand, and this game stayed close late. But the Chiefs won in the final second. The Bengals' faces said it all. Burrow looked like he wanted to punt a baby, and I kinda wish one was on the field. No! No! God, no. What am I cheering for? A power outage? Someone needs to investigate the Broncos' connection to Big Pharma, as they are single-handedly fueling an epidemic of depression meds. Well, enchante, a touchdown. 1 touchdown in 2 weeks of football. They showed a breakdown of Bo Nix's passes. I haven't seen that much red since I spent the night in 1960s Cuba. Is this the worst game of the week? It's an honor just to be nominated. George Pickens looked like a number 1 receiver, and Bo Nix looked like a number 2. He was picked off twice again. He still hasn't thrown a touchdown in the NFL. I'd say he should throw in the towel, but it would probably be intercepted. TJ Watt lightly grazed Nick's ankle, and it was enough to drop him like a melting wax statue of Tim Tebow. Sean Payton went for it on 4th down. What could have possibly given him the confidence? Sweet Jesus, take my eyes! This wasn't the Russell Wilson revenge game we were promised this offseason, but I guess watching the Broncos implode was its own revenge. Welcome to the pumpkin patch. This game was contentious, and other words. Nico Collins is too tall, too strong, too fast, and possibly too furious. He split the defense for an easy score. The Bears had one good drive that ended with a Khalil Herbert score. Now back to the bench with you, Khalil. We'll see you next week, maybe. Bears CEO Kevin Warren loomed large, like the ghost of a Men's Warehouse. Roschon Johnson showed some next-level restraint after Azeez Al-Shaair punched him in the face for no goddamn reason other than proximity. Luckily, he was wearing that helmet, despite not playing a single snap in the game. Dress for the job you want. Caleb Williams still hasn't thrown a touchdown, but he looked like the hardest-working man on nearly every play. Next year's first-round pick better be an offensive lineman, or a squeegee to scrape Caleb Williams off the turf. Bird fight! A.J. Brown missed this game. Instead, he worked his side hustle as a bobblehead. In the first quarter, the Eagles went for it on 4th down. Apparently, Coach Sirianni isn't familiar with the concept of addition. The analytics said go for it, but they also said my package would be here by Sunday. It was a decision that definitely wouldn't haunt them. I don't even know why I brought it up. Super Bowl MVP Nick Foles was there, and for some fucking reason, Matt Patricia. Did he not leave? He knows he was fired, right? Jalen Hurts picked up a 4th down, but he was flagged for spiking the ball. Thanks, refs. Thanks for protecting us from joy. Apparently, the officiating crew was made up of our fathers, nothing but a bunch of stoics. 5-yard penalty, and I will never tell you I love you. It was a brotherly shove to take the lead late. All the Eagles needed was to work the clock, but that's not what they did. Barkley dropped a pass after accidentally high-fiving a stick of butter, and the Eagles left an extra 40 seconds for the Falcons. Kirk Cousins must have pounded some cocaine and whatever horses eat. Because he had them down the field and in the end zone, faster than it took to make the popcorn to watch this drive. Cousins, you tease, where was this all night? And where was the Philly defense? Were they still in Philadelphia? Sirianni looked like he was witnessing someone break spaghetti. Hurts chucked a turd ball to the Falcons, and that was it. Oh look, the Eagles lost by less than a field goal. I guess points do matter.
It's time for the soft pretzel of the week.
Yummy.
This week, the pretzel goes to fan donations. After Tua's unfortunate injury in Week 2, the Tua Foundation received nearly 1,000 donations and reached close to $18,000 in the first 24 hours. That's in part to Bills fans donating and promoting the charity on social media. The charity supports a number of youth, health, and wellness initiatives. This isn't the first time. The Bills Mafia stepped up in 2022 when Tua had his other scary concussion against the Bengals. So at this point, they know the procedure. Cheers to everyone who donated or promoted Tua's charity. Our fan bases separate us, but our humanity connects us. In fact, I'm giving a second pretzel this week to the man himself, Tua Tagovailoa. We don't send flowers here, we send pretzels. This one's crunchy. All the best to Tua for his recovery and his future health. Thank you so much for watching Shut Up Football. We do appreciate it. Please make sure you're subscribed if you haven't already. Like the video, say hi to your mom for me, and we'll catch you in the next one. Peace!
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys. It sound right, boy.